Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, guten Morgen. My name is Dan, this is Engelgeist. Thank you for tuning into the channel. This is your Sunday forecast, but also keep in mind Sunday's forecasts here on the channel are a little bit longer because they not only set off and represent the first day, which is Sunday of the week, but they're also, these cards double as the sort of building energy of the week, the underpinning energy of the week. So we'll see the beginnings of it happening today on Sunday, and then it'll go through till the end of this month, the 29th, guys, Saturday the 29th, which is the leap year. So we don't normally see the 29th of February, so that's sort of also a special thing. And just be honest, I filmed these now a day early for my Patreon page. So this is being filmed on 2/22/2020. So that's 22222. Okay. So Marla Gibbs ain't got nothing on that number. No need for sevens here when you got 5 2s. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyways, yeah. So this is the Sunday forecast from the 23rd through the 29th. This is a timeless message, so as I shuffle these cards, I trust that Spirit will give a message that's for the highest good. Therefore, if it's for the highest good, it's going to be timeless. If you're seeing this video on a date that's not even in February, that's okay. Watch the video. There may be a message in here for you. There might be something that applies to your life. You might be in a vibrational alignment with what's going on in this video, and it's gonna bring you everything that you need right in this very moment. So don't turn it off, just stick with it. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. And for those of you that are returning, welcome back. I love each and every one of you. To my Patreon subscribers, you guys are, the ones that subscribe to the Patreon page. Thank you so very, very much. Be on the lookout at the first of the month for your special readings, the angel reading and the Cupid's love reading, and some of the other content that's over there. They've also been voting over there for the deck that we'll be using in March, so that will be shifting. I'm sad to see these decks go. These beautiful decks that we've been using. In the description boxes of the videos are the links, my Amazon affiliate links to these decks. If these decks interest you, you want to purchase them, please use the link to lead you to Amazon, because I will get a small portion of the sale. So that helps to support the channel. Other ways you can support the channel are through watching the videos completely, subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell on either Facebook at the business page or on YouTube. You can follow me at Engelgeist333 on Instagram. Or, like I said, you can subscribe to my Patreon page at Engelgeist333 over on Patreon. Beyond that, thank you for being here. Let's see what's going on in the energy. And this is for, everyone, for the group collective. We're all connected, right? We're all walking the same planet. We all have souls and spirits. We're all more connected than we actually realize. So let's see what's going on. So the first card represents maybe the first, day or two, and then the second card is the next few days, and then the third card would be the end of the week. And some of these, for some of you guys, it may apply, and for some of you, it may not, right? Take what you want and leave the rest is how it works around here. The other thing is also some of you might be cycling through these cards faster, where others may not cycle through all of these cards. What I am going to do is cycle through one of my cats if they keep wrestling under the couch, under the desk every time I start a video. I don't know what that's about, but apparently my cats want their own sitcom. Alright, so let's get started and see what the first card is for the beginning of the... Oh, wow. So this energy is still with us. Guys, if you have not watched last Sunday's, I want you to go back and watch last Sunday's. We had a bit of a week. We've got this retrograde going on. This artist is saying to me immediately, like screaming out at me, we're still building, we're still building, we're still working on this. Like we are still, this is a special card to this particular deck. It's an extra major arcana card called the Artist, okay? And with this card, to me, it looks like we are sort of creating our world. There's an energy here. There's a creative energy, an artistic energy, a flow. We're on one side looking into the other side of possibility and wanting to create that. If you look at those clouds in front of the tree, to me, it's like the clouds are sort of clearing away and we're further defining what it is we want and how we want it. Now, this was our midweek energy card on Sunday of last week. And then something went on Sunday, we had this as like sort of the Wednesday, Thursday-ish card, right? Which said to me that it was going to, hold on one second. Do you need to lick him like that right now? Really? Like now is the time? Because you've been quiet the whole time until I turn on the video and then it's like, let's start a lick fest. Can you refrain from bathing everybody until we finish? Thank you so much, dear. Sorry, I have 3 bulldogs and they kind of, I don't know why, but she has to bathe people when I start talking. So the artist energy to me, this card showing back up again and now at the beginning of the week says that we're still in this cycle. We're still building. We are still creating, and whether we want to be aware of that or not, some of us may be unconsciously creating. I know that the week that I had last week, I was a bit afraid of what I was creating after seeing these cards. Because as we went through the week, the cards started to kind of derail in some ways. And so I think that we got off to a different sort of path than what it sort of originally appeared like. And I have to say that I think it was somewhat the retrograde that may have affected that. So I feel like this artist card is also giving me a little bit of a sigh of relief, because it is saying to me that we're not done creating. Don't worry if you were focused on things that weren't working for you, or you were experiencing things that were kind of retrograde and confusing, upsetting. Sometimes we need to go through what we don't like or want to figure out what it is we do need or desire, right? So this being, not only the setup card for today, but also throughout the beginning part of this week is be mindful. There's a heady energy of creation happening underneath all of this. Pay attention to where we're focusing, what we're looking at. Are we looking at, he's like concentrating on sort of the creation of this other world that he maybe doesn't feel like he's quite in yet, right? So what I would say with this is, like, if we feel like we're lacking something, we need to start to see that something that we need and bringing it to us, like this tree, which could represent growth or security, grounding, whatever it is we're looking for. It could be bringing it towards us just by focusing on the pure feeling of what does that feel like for us, right? How strong is our desire for that? How soon can we bring it? And he's drawing it into his book. He's also drawing it into his reality, I believe. The clouds, even though they're clearing away so he can get more clarity around what it is he wants and how he wants it, it almost feels like the clouds are being pulled towards him, bringing this reality to him. Okay? So we have that power if we choose to, like, sort of harness it, focus it, choose our emotions, choose our thoughts, choose where we put our attention, and really do that in the beginning part of this week. Okay, no matter what goes on, if something gets funky, let it be funky, But remember that if you choose to focus on the funk, you manifest more of the funk. All right, the next card, which would be the midweek, this is the 8 of Pentacles. So we got some hard work. This is around finances. Pentacles is the energy of Earth, right? So, and it's also has to do with material gain and wealth. But to me, this is about hard work and sort of a steadiness. This is about sort of keeping a goal and keeping our goals grounded. This is about sort of reminding ourselves that, this artist card to me, where it sort of feels a little bit ephemeral, or sort of like maybe this is more of our dreams, right? Where we dream and we begin to dream about what we desire and what we want. This is the actionable, like, sort of earth-based, methodical sort of steps that we need to take in a very sort of grounded way to go about creating that reality, about bringing that sort of wealth in or that abundance in. This does not necessarily have to mean money. This could mean a loving relationship. This could mean better friendships. This could mean more stability at your job. This could mean more security at home. I mean, a lot of things are represented in here, but what I do love about this card, we have this beautiful castle here. To me, similar like the tree, right? It's the reality is still there, but now we're actually doing the physical work in this realm, in the 3D realm, to sort of build that. And he's doing it successfully by staying sort of focused, keeping his attention on what it is he wants, not on anything that is not needed, right? And even like sort of these pentacles here in the higher mind, to me, look like this feels like it's in the higher mind. Like, well, as he works on this one, he's aware of, okay, and then 2 steps from now I'll be working on this one, and from 2 steps from now I'll be working on that one, right? And keeping that sort of focus. The groundedness that comes in this is not only is he kneeling to me, that's where I feel that, but also this wall here to me feels really sort of grounded and centered. The funny thing about this wall is this feels like if we discover any blockages or anything that sort of impedes our work as we actionably sort of work towards whatever desires we kind of create in the early part of the week, or whichever way we start to think about, ooh, that would feel nice, I wish I could have that, how do I go about creating that? When we start that actionable work, if we find that there's resistance or walls that come up, either within us or outside of us, look at how quickly this boy can turn around and just still see over the wall and still see his goal. Still see this castle, still see the sort of the dream, right? And it's not, I don't want to call it a dream per se, because I feel like with this 8 of Pentacles, to me, 8 is all about balance, right? When you turn 8 on its side, it becomes this sort of infinity symbol. So a lot of people say 2s are about balances, and I agree with that too, but I also agree that 2s are about balance in the sense of coupling, things coming together, 1 and 2, us coming together with ourselves. To me, 8s are more about that flow, that balance of flow, that sort of we put in the hard work and we reap the results, right? And that's what this is about, is actually taking the physical manifestations of whatever it was that we were creating in the dream last week, because he was in last week's. And we ended on the 9 of Pentacles last week, right? Which was this major abundance card, but that was our end card for last Sunday's prediction for the entire week, right? I feel like that 9 of Pentacles is still at play somewhere. I don't want to say we got off track last week, but the retrograde is bringing up things for us that I feel like that 9 of Pentacles was not a card that we were going to see at the end of the week, right? It was something that we might be working on in a more long-term fashion, and this is us actually by midweek starting to really put our attention, our intention, our focus into what it is we want. And if we find ourselves getting resistance or walls or whatever, this wall to me is also grounded and protection for him, but there also might be, oh wow, okay, so I want to say this wall feels like grounding. It also feels like it could be an obstacle for some of you. If it is an obstacle, remember, he can still turn over, look over the obstacle and still see his goal. And he can turn back around, not pay attention to the obstacle, and continue to work towards this goal, right? But I also see that this obstacle, for some of you, could be a form of protection. And the reason why I say this is we saw that no card on Sunday's forecast of last week, and then on Saturday, at the end of the week, the no card showed back up. If some of you experience a wall that is like so big that you can't see over it, or that it is stopping you, that may be that no energy that we were seeing in those no cards. You need to pay attention to those things. That wall could be protecting you from something that you need to not go after. Only you guys will know this. I have a feeling, like I'm not sure who I'm specifically speaking to in regards to this, but I feel like this wall here for you, or for some of you, you'll know it, and you already know, I feel like you already have this knowing within you that whatever it is that you're trying to make work isn't working. And so this wall coming up, even though it's grounded, it's coming up actually offering you protection. I see this wall is protecting his back too. So it's stopping us from going after something that we don't necessarily need or will not necessarily work, okay? I love that my computer's dinging while I'm saying this too. That's definitely a sign from like the universe that like, pay attention to that. So that's for some of you, okay? For others, this wall could represent just sort of false distractions that we need to look above or beyond and not allow them to get in our way and go back, turn back, turn our back on it and go back to work. Okay? Now, this last card is for the end of the week. Hopefully, this is how the week will end out. We will see as we progress through each day of this week. But we have the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles is sort of a strange card because it's sort of about like financial like kind of loss, right? But to me, in this card, it feels like there is this sort of blooming or like I like how these pentacles sort of come out like a flower, and I like how there's this nurturing energy between this mother and child. Some people, like, you could attribute the Five of Pentacles to like sort of negative things like the loss of money or you know, maybe sickness, illness, unforeseen things. And that could represent for some of you. I don't want anybody to freak out. I feel like with this Eight of Pentacles and this artist energy, to me, there's some things that we still are like, if anything, this Five of Pentacles is like a last minute cleanup of any last minute sort of limiting beliefs, any last minute sort of holdbacks, any last minute things that sort of I feel like need to be purged before the end of this retrograde, so that we can actually put this work to good use. Put all of this creation energy and all of this hard work and focus to good work, to good use. We might need by week's end to take a pause, right? That might be that holding of that child that we see in the card, maybe taking a little bit of extra care for ourselves at the end of the week, and just sort of acknowledging maybe where our fears might be, where our self-doubt might be, where we might be sort of, you know, if we are experiencing walls or blockages, instead of allowing those walls and blockages to really sort of hinder us, I would say this Five of Pentacles says to me for us to sort of take a deeper look, and sort of, and the reason why I say this is this blooming sort of flower in the background with these pentacles spreading out. To me, it's like this feels like an opportunity for us to see, okay, where and what blocks me, right? This is about us getting quiet and compassionate with ourselves and caring for ourselves enough to stop and go, okay, am I afraid of my own success? Am I afraid of my own failure? Do I live in a world where I believe I don't have enough all of the time, thus I'm creating more of that not enough feeling? Do you see what I'm saying? And I know it's easier said than done, but you have to start to believe that you have enough so that you can actually create more, right? I talked about this last week with that video and helping of, you know, Marita and Zeke and Zane, and trying, you know, if you can't help financially, that's fine. Help with your time. Get out of yourself. Get out of your own problems. And sort of maybe help someone else in the process by week's end, to help you to understand where you think you're lacking, because you want to find those opportunities where you're abundant or where you have an ability to give. I really believe that, because when you do that, you open up that flow and it starts to give back to you. That's not why we're doing it though. Do you understand? Like, I feel like we need to be doing it from our heart. So this Five of Pentacles to me feels like maybe some time to go inward and figure out what it is that's maybe stopping us. Because this Artist card and this Eight of Pentacles to me feels like hard work and creative thought are going to be at hand in the early part of the week. This Five of Pentacles is sort of showing us, okay, now that we've got the ball rolling, what do we need to remove that could potentially stop this flow from happening? And then finding actionable ways to create more flow. If that's through helping others, if that's through volunteering our time, if that's through just like being an ear for somebody else and holding space for them and allowing them to sort of cry or tell you about what's going on for them. That's the holding of the child there, right? That's that compassion. When we can bestow that upon another, you know, it doesn't take much to be able to give freely, right? And when we give freely to others, then, you know, I feel like the universe gives freely back to us. Usually, in much bigger ways than we expect. So keep that in mind by week's end if some of you are feeling down, distraught, blocked. This block is temporary, and this block is similar to this wall that I was explaining to you, this obstacle where it's to show you and in some ways like teach you where you're blocking yourself. Where are the walls that you have up in your life? Where have you placed walls that you thought were there to protect you, but they're really actually keeping you penned in? Alright, let's see what the Work Your Light deck has to say. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Now this right there makes me think about the idea of that wall, and kind of the idea of if you're trusting your path and you're grounded and you're working and you're doing actionable work towards your goals and you're believing that your goals are attainable, you're believing in yourself that you can work towards them, you're believing in yourself that you can accomplish it, you're not letting your fears and your self-doubts, and I mean, I know everybody's human, guys, so fears and self-doubts are going to arise, but generally as a rule when fears and self-doubts arise, that's because something matters to us, because we're concerned and we care about something. Right? We really want it to work. We really want it to happen. We need to trust our path, trust the fact that whatever we're doing in the moment is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. If we're doing nothing out of fear, that's probably not what we're supposed to be doing. I'm just going to be honest with you there. I've done that. I've definitely spent my time using that as a choice. And it's I have to say this. When I have done that in the past, I've known it and I've felt worse off after having done it, but really ultimately here's where I sit today, and it hasn't done me any damage other than sort of wasting time. But time can be a precious commodity, right? Do I wish I had done things differently? At times I do, but does it serve me at all to worry and wish that things were different when I can't change it? No. So now's the time to be more in the present moment. Do like this Eight of Pentacles and do actionable work towards your goal. Continue to use this artist card and the energy of this artist. I feel like it presenting itself again in this week says that it's underneath all of this during this retrograde. It's like, what do we want to move in? What do we want to move out? What do we want to let go of? What do we want to trust in? What do we want to believe in? This Five of Pentacles says to me that those things might come up first by the week's end, but they're coming up as a gift for us to see them and let them go. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Start to write that idea into your book at the beginning of the week, and then start to take actionable steps towards that. If you get a little bit scared, start to look at what those fears and those doubts are that stop you. And remember that that's like sort of a gift that they're coming to you and showing themselves to you so that they can no longer work. Alright, let's go to the grounding stone. See what the grounding stone has to say. This is just a thought or an idea that you want to ground in during this week. And this is on malachite. This says energy. Now I have a couple of energy stones in here, one on obsidian and one on malachite, I believe. I might even have one on carnelian. They all say energy. This one being on the malachite, malachite often takes me to the sixth chakra, or the heart, not sixth chakra, sorry, the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, because it's associated with the colors green and pink. When I look at this, and there's obviously a lot of pink in this trusting of your path card too, this is about the energy of your heart, trusting that, allowing that to be your guide, allowing that to like sort of lead your art in the beginning of the week, allowing that to create your desire. What is your heart's desire, and do you trust it? Do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe you can have it? And as I say this to you guys, I can certainly apply this into my own life in certain areas, right? And so I think that this is the key for this week, this grounding stone. We need to ground in our energy and ground in like sort of with a focus on our heart chakra and what sort of makes us alive there. this last week since the retrograde has started, I've been crying my fucking ass off. And I mean, probably, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it because it's half a joke, but it's half of my own negative thinking. But I've probably been annoying the shit out of you guys with all my tears, right? That's just my ego or my fear or whatever. You guys probably don't feel that way, but that's just how my head works, right? And I know you guys probably do the same exact thing in your own way. But so, anyways, I know that I've been crying a lot. I've been trying to embrace that crying. I've been trying not to hide from it. I've been trying not to run from it. I've been trying to sort of release it because I feel like it is stuff that's coming up for me during this retrograde. And it's stuff that I sort of need to let go of so it no longer drives and makes my decisions for me underneath the surface as I try to stuff it and hide it. This energy stone, this grounding stone says to me, it's time to get into our heart chakras and like trust our hearts. Trust the energy and the love that's within there. Trust that as being part of your path. Allowing that to sort of set the tone for the creation of the dream or the desire. Start to begin to like energetically connect that, right? And then bring it into actionable, actual sort of focus and start to work towards it. And if doubt comes up or fear comes up, be compassionate towards yourself, be compassionate towards others. Know that any doubts or fears or worries that might come up by week's end are there to be removed. It's a retrograde. A retrograde is, I've heard it described as like sort of like, it's not just this like big fuck you from the universe, haha, we're gonna watch you trip all over your computer and make a fool of yourself. It's an opportunity to look at stuff that's not working for us and purge it. It's actually a blessing. It's one of the biggest blessings that we get. And that's why we get like 3 or 4 of them a year, right? Depending on how it goes. We get these opportunities so we don't have to continue to repeat stuff. But some of us choose to repeat stuff. I mean, I have both consciously and unconsciously chosen to repeat negative patterns, essentially. Patterns that don't get me anywhere. Now, finding my way out of them, it's hard, it's not easy work, but again, we're back to this card of trusting your path. The door is there, we have to do the work to get there, but we can get through there. And I love what this says. What would you do if you were fully supported? Or if you knew you were supported, what would you do? Guys, you are supported. You're supported by your mind, you're supported by your body, you're supported by your spirit, you're supported by your emotions. The thing is that we sort of don't realize that. That's the breath work that we do. That's the triangle at the beginning of every video. It's to show you the 3-sided triangle with the emotions underneath. All 3 sides of that triangle are equal to the base of the triangle. All are equal parts and components. They all should be equally appreciated in conjunction, in support of one another. And if you're not breathing and looking at that image or making that image in your mind as you're doing breath work in the morning and being grateful for all 4 aspects, that's going to help you to trust your path. That's going to help you to feel supported. That's going to help you to access this heart energy and work from it all week long, even when it gets fearful, icky, or scary. This is where we want to progress towards. This is what we want. This is our heart's desire. Go after it. Alright, you guys, this is a long forecast. I'm sorry it took so long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave me a like, share, a comment, a subscribe. Tune in tomorrow as we watch the energy unfold throughout the week. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye-bye.